Today, we're going to be taking a look at something pretty unique, I think, in the Windows space. Now, those of you familiar with Linux might already know about Windows tiling managers, and they're pretty common over on Linux. But I found one that actually works for both Mac and Windows. And for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at how to configure and set it up on Windows. Now, what is a tiling manager, you might ask? Well, it's something where it actually manually resize and arrange windows and it automatically tiles them side by side like a puzzle. Now we can see a brief example of this here, and you can see them just open it up. They're going to click on some sort of utility. We see them open up terminal. They open up another thing, and it just boom, it automatically just configures everything to fit inside one screen. So, if that's something you might be interested playing around with and testing out, let's jump in to see how to get this up and running on Windows 11. For this lab, I'm going to be utilizing Windows 11 25H2 in a VM environment, but everything I do will translate perfectly over for those of you running Windows natively. Additionally, all the commands and tools will be in the description below. First up, we have to get the application installed, so we're simply going to go over here to our Start menu, type in PowerShell. If I can type, go ahead and click on that. Then we're going to type in our first command, hit enter. It should install for you. We'll go ahead and click yes on this, and we have seen it successfully installed. Next up is going to be the second command. That is, again, another WinGet install. We'll go ahead and hit enter, and it will probably prompt you one more time. Again, we'll just click yes, and again, we see successfully installed, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. Now, there's a couple other things that we want to do before we really get this up and running. So I am just simply going to minimize this. First of all, I don't want anything on the background, so I'm going to go ahead and right click, hit view, uncheck show desktop icons, just cleans that up just a little bit more. What I'm going to do is get PowerToys installed. Now, you can install PowerToys a couple different ways. Down below, I'll have the Chris Titus Win utility. You can also go directly to Microsoft's website to download PowerToys. You can also go into your Microsoft store to install it. Now, my store is kind of broken on this VM, but I'm just going to use this command, which again will be in the description down below. We'll hit enter. We do need to be in admin, which will automatically launch for us. Once we have this screen up and running, again, you don't have to try to do it in this PowerShell. You could open up another PowerShell admin and then type in this command. But once the screen's up, we'll scroll down to Microsoft Tools, and we'll look for Power Toys, and we'll just select that check mark. Again, you can go up to the search bar and actually just type in Power Toys and hit enter, and it'll actually show you right there as well. Just a little bit faster way of doing it. Once we have that check mark, we're just going to hit install upgrade application. We're going to see it start to do some stuff in the background here. And then the screen here is just going to tell us how much progress it's actually making. All right, we see that screen has gone away. This has turned green. PowerToys has launched. And we also see on this other screen that installs have finished. So that is perfect. We can go ahead and exit out of this screen, which will exit out of that screen, but we want to retain the welcome to Power Toys. If you close out of this Power Toys screen, just simply look for Power Toys and you'll find it here and you can open it once again. Now, the one thing that we want to look for is the command palette. We're going to hit open settings. That's going to launch the actual command palette settings. Then we're going to see open command palette. What we want to do is click on this. Then we're going to hit settings one more time. And here we can actually edit the activation key. Now, I want to do something similar to Mac where you just do Alt spacebar to make this launch instead of Windows Alt spacebar, because I think 3 keys is a bit much, especially if we're going to have this tiling manager go. So we're just going to hit the little edit button right here. We're going to just simply hit Alt space, and we see that it shows up. Then we're going to hit save, and we can exit out of this. Now we can test it. We can hit Alt space, and if it shows up, you've done it right. If not, just double check your settings to make sure you did select the right keys. Now, as for the PowerShell window, we do need to keep it up. So I'm again just going to kind of set it over here to the side of the screen. Now, one weird thing that I'm going to have to do, and that maybe you guys won't have to do if you're not on a VM, is I am going to have to go to a website here and get a specific driver. Otherwise, mine will not work. The tiling manager will, but the bar at the top will not show up. So, what I need to do, again, this will be in the description down below. I'm just going to scroll down and look for the Mesa 3D 2606 release MSVC.7Z. I'm going to go ahead and download that real quick. Now that it's downloaded, I'm going to open it up in File Explorer. We'll go ahead and right click, extract all, hit extract. It's going to take a second to just extract all of that. Again, you do not have to do this if you are running a regular system with a regular GPU. This is only because this is a VM environment, so we're just kind of making a generic GPU that it can use for that top bar. Once it's opened, we're basically just going to double click on system-wide deploy, hit run again. We'll hit yes, and we're going to hit enter any key to continue. And the one we want is the core desktop OpenGL drivers. So we'll just select one and hit enter. Once it says OpenGL drivers deploy complete, press any key to continue, just hit enter, and then we can select 9 to exit out. And that's all we need to do. Again, one more time, it's only if you are running this on a VM. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get the styling manager up and running. So first off, again, we're just gonna follow along with all the commands that I have set down below. Now, the first thing we're gonna need to do is enable long paths. Now, this is a weird quirk with Windows because it can only have technically like 200 characters from the past in a long path file system. But the way this tiling manager is set up, it needs excessively long paths. So as we see, this one's actually going to need to be ran as admin. I completely spaced that. So what I'm going to do is just hit the Windows key, type in PowerShell, run as administrator, hit yes, wait for it to finish doing whatever it's doing here. I'm just going to close out of that there. If it gets stuck like this every once in a while, just hit enter. Sometimes it corrects itself. Now, once again, going to try to enable long path. And there we go. We saw no failure or anything like that. So that means we're good to go. Now, if you want to clear your screen, you can type clear and then we can continue on. So we're going to go ahead and run the quick start here, and we're going to see a couple different things have been made. Now, if you run this and it tells you it doesn't recognize it or whatever, feel free to just close out a PowerShell and reopen it and then try running it again. Sometimes it just doesn't update for whatever reason, and then restarting PowerShell just makes it work. Again, make sure you're not in admin PowerShell though. You need to be in your regular user. We can see that it did create a couple different files here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up File Explorer real quick. Now that I'm in File Explorer, I'm just going to go ahead and go to this PC, the C drive, users, find whatever user I'm using, and you're going to see the files right here. You may have to scroll down, you may not. It just depends on you. So we have a couple different things. We can start it up. The files are created. One additional thing I would recommend is right-clicking on your taskbar, taskbar settings, and then scrolling down, and then we're going to find taskbar behaviors. Again, scrolling down just a little bit more, and we're going to have automatically hide the taskbar. Now, this is just going to be kind of out of sight, out of mind here, and we'll still be able to use it when we need it. Now, the reason we want to do this is because that way we still have access to our taskbar. Now, you can disable this in the registry a little bit more advancedly if you want that kind of aesthetic where you don't ever want to see the taskbar again. But this is kind of a beginner's guide and to kind of feel out if this is even something that you guys want to do in the future. What we'll do is just continue to have that as auto hide. I feel like that's the safe approach here. Next up, we're going to actually start the utility. So I'm just going to copy over. That's going to be the start whkd and the bar command. And you're going to start to see some things start up here. We're going to see started, we'll start the process and everything like that. Now, it does take a few seconds for it to show up. As you saw there, the bar isn't the most practical of coming up quickly, but we see that our tiling manager now is actually up and running, which is perfect. Now we can move things around. You can just kind of drag like the title bars if you want to like swap them like that. If we open up something like Notepad, you're going to see it begin to tile. Now, this is a majority of the work already done. If you do want to start it up with auto start, I have the command again in the description below. It'll be enable auto start and we'll just hit enter. And this should on restart just launch this for you. Additionally, if you enable auto start and then you don't like it and you want to disable it, I have that command down below as well. So let's do just a quick few little configuration changes here that I think just elevate this just a little bit more. But we're almost done and you can begin to use this. So first off, I'm going to go over here to our file folders and you're going to see the bar and the regular folder. First, I'm just going to right click, edit in Notepad, and then edit in Notepad for both of those. And then I'm just going to drag over, and that's going to make this one a much larger. Now, if you want to close the screen, you could just do Alt Q, and that would make it full screen. First up, you're going to notice that the spacing around this stuff is just massive. So if we have two notepads, that gap, I feel, is just too much. So first off, we're going to go to our regular file, the one that doesn't have bar, and we're going to look at the description down below. So the first things that we're going to change are the default workspace padding and the container padding. And that's going to be a majority of this spacing. So what I want to make it do is maybe something like 2. You can hit File, Save. It'll actually probably change it. There you go. If you want it like perfectly against each other, by all means, you can change these to 0 as well, and we can just do a control save, and then it'll like reload here in just a second. And you can see the gapping has even gone less. Now, the next thing that you might want to change is the thickness of these bars. I think they're a little too much, and I say about 5 is pretty good. That way, if you want to have the coloring and everything like that, you still can see the coloring. If you don't, you can even lower that even more. Now that's pretty much it for this file. So I'm just going to again make sure that I saved and then exit out of this. Next up, we're going to be editing the bar.json file. Now, one thing you can do if we go into Windows File Explorer, again, C drive, users, Divine, whatever your user is, you can right click, hit copy, paste, and then call this like backup or something like that. If you're worried about changing this and then maybe forgetting what those additional settings are, that's probably a good approach, especially if you're going to be tweaking a lot of different things. You want to play around with, the colors, the sizing, everything like that. This is very customizable, but we're only just on the tip of the iceberg in this video. For this bar here, we're going to change a few things around. So I'm going to do double quotes, and then we'll do font underscore size, go outside the quote here, and then we're going to do 12 comma, and again, hit save. You're going to see things. Next up, we're going to type in double quote, go inside, do height, because I feel like this bar is way too thick, and lowering it down to something like 25, I think is much better. And you can see that it does auto update a few things. I feel like the coloring never auto updates and I have to initiate it, but for some reason, when you do the height and the font size, ad actually does it. So I feel like 25 is much better. I think the default something around like 40. And the next thing is going to be the coloring theme. Now I want a little bit of the darker theme, so I'm going to type in black metal here instead of ashes. The accent I am going to actually change to bar underscore accent. Then we're going to space over. We're going to do inside the quotes here, and then we're going to do unfocused border. Go outside, and then quote, and we're going to do base 03. Again, we'll just save that. And if we give it a second, we can see if it'll change the color. I don't think it will. I was playing around with it the other day and it wouldn't do that. I needed to run the start command, which kind of reloaded the top bar for me. Now that we've saved it, we'll try to hit start here and see if it'll reapply the right coloring for us. It doesn't look like it did. So instead, now I'm going to run the stop command if I spell it correctly here. You're going to see that everything kind of turns off. Then I'm going to scroll up and hit the start command again. And this should show up the new color, hopefully. And there we go. We've just restarted it and our dark theme has now been applied to the top bar. Now you can kind of see that we have different windows. There is a plethora of different shortcut keys here, and most of these shortcuts are going to be initiated with Alt. So if I did Alt 1 or 2, I could flip back and forth. That just gives me different workspaces to kind of play around with, and we'll see this top bar here. It kind of changes and hovers over which one we're at. You can go through like 1 through 7, I believe. And say we didn't want this window stuck inside this tiling manager. We can actually hit Alt T and that will take it out, and we have normal functionality like we would in a normal window. Now, I will say that there are way more colors and stuff you can do with this stuff. So I just wanted to get you guys up and running, and that's basically it for this Windows Tiling Manager here. Now, if you have this out and you don't want it anymore, you want it back to the tiling mode, again, Alt T will take you back there. Now, for customization and everything like that, we might do a video later on, but this at least gets you up and running and seeing if you like a Windows Tiling Manager system, even on Windows, or maybe it'll even get you to go over to Linux. When you do eventually go over to Linux and you want to just continue on with this tiling manager, you're already kind of familiar with how they work. As always, if you like the video, think about liking, commenting, and subscribing down below, and I'll see you in the next one.